The term amicable divorce sounds like an oxymoron, right? But there are actually ways to make the whole process a little less ugly, maybe a lot less ugly, and probably a lot better for the kids. It's called collaborative divorce. It can help couples move beyond the hurt feelings and end their unions with maybe some measure of dignity. Who knows? Joining me now is attorney Robert Freed with the Connecticut Collaborative Divorce Group. Bob, nice to have you here. Collaborative divorce, define, please.
Collaborative divorce is relatively new in Connecticut, about a dozen years, and it's a gentler, kinder way to go through the divorce process. Basically, as a foundation, we're signing a no-court pledge. We're not going to court, we're not threatening to go to court. We're going to sit in a conference room with the attorneys, very often a mental health professional, and we're going to work out the differences.
So there's really a team that each person has behind them. Does the team attend these sessions, and how do you afford paying for a mental health professional and a financial expert and all that goes into it?
Well, not every case needs the entire team, as you call it. Our particular group has a number of attorneys, mental health professionals, and financial professionals. The mental health professional very often pays for himself or herself because it takes some things out of the group meeting room, such as working on the parenting plan.
Right.
Sometimes things get emotional or tense, and the mental health professional is very good at that. And so that some of these things you're dealing with one professional on the side rather than at a group meeting.
You know, I was going to ask you about the notion of things flaring back up again. I'm sure a lot of couples would love to end these things with dignity, but you know, people are people, and they get in the same room and they start rehashing the things that made this divorce happen in the first place. Do you find that a lot of people start the collaborative process and just have trouble getting through it?
Well, the people who are involved in the collaborative process, and I would contend that most people are much better off doing the collaborative process. You bring the same baggage that you bring to a traditional divorce. The difference is how we deal with it. Instead of going into court and litigating and making matters worse, more tense, exacerbating the tensions, we all work together as a team. The professionals are collaborating much as the parties are. We're helping get a level of communications that very often did not exist in the years during the breakdown.
It's important to remember that it's not just the spouses, the husband and wife, the estranged husband and wife involved in this. They each bring their own representative to the collaborative process. How does that work?
Well, that's very true, and that's what I'm saying. If we had an issue like someone wants someone out of the house, in the traditional case, we go into court and we battle, and we fight the other side.
Yeah.
Here, instead, the two attorneys and the mental health professional are working. What are the options to resolve this issue? What's bothering you? How do we get around it? How do we resolve it so that we can move forward?
Are divorce attorneys, are you flexible enough to declare peace when it's necessary to? Or are you too used to war?
I War of the Roses.
Yeah.
I'm a litigator because when I started, that's all there was. Then mediation came aboard, and in the last 12 years, collaborative divorce. I see the harm that results in a truly litigated divorce. People forget you're not divorcing the children, you're divorcing yourselves. Co-parenting is just not during the children's adolescence, but you have to be, you're tied at the hip for the rest of your lives.
Well, let's talk about that, because perhaps the bottom line to everything we're talking about here is how does it affect the kids? Over your years taking part in collaborative divorce, what have you seen as the benefits for the children?
Oh, the benefits are great, and I apologize for telling a war story, but many years ago I had a case that was fully litigated, and my client was happy. 2 years later he comes to me and said, my daughter's getting married next month. My daughter came to me and said, you and mom cannot be in the same room. I'm sorry, you can't come to the wedding. So the benefits, first of all, you're truly putting the best needs of the children, the best interests of the children ahead of necessarily what's in the best interest of the parents. So working out the parenting plan, making sure the children are comfortable, because it's a big breakup for the children when their parents move and separate.
Let's go ahead and put up on the screen, Bob, some of the things that we've been talking about here. And while folks get a look at that, tell us what, if they're estranged, if they're heading that way, what can people do to find out more about this?
Well, our website is ctcollaborativedivorce.com. And it lists the professionals of the three types I told you about, the attorneys, the mental health professional, and the financial professionals. And someone should feel free to either check out our website or call one of the professionals in our group and ask them the questions. How can you help me?
All right.
I think there are many answers.
Can't help but make the world a better place if there's a little less fighting going on out there, right? Bob, thank you so much for coming in.